Yo, what it do, y'all? Happy old faces because I'm not fully up yet. So, coming to you live from hut number 3. Uncle Lane here. And listen, I'm just going to cut to the chase. If you guys still want that Saturday night's main event in Evolution, I might have to go backwards. But I have to bring y'all the interesting things-ish. I ain't 2 minutes in yet, so get the volume up on here. I don't want it to be too loud because it is 8 in the morning at the time of this record, at the time of this live. So yeah. So here's some interesting ish that happened at SummerSlam Saturday, 2025. Now, like I said, when I do this is based on like notes and stuff that I write down, and it's like I might say some things that I just exactly write down, or I try to just flip it in order to get y'all to know what I mean. But interestingly enough, one of the things that was like mentioned hard, which I'll get into a little later on, is how this was like night one was basically the way they centered things, and it's basically on the last two matches of the night. For instance, I ended up putting how it started, God Bless America, performed by this kid named Breland from Jersey. And this is where SummerSlam is emanating from for the next 2 nights, yesterday and today, from MetLife Stadium, home of my Giants and Jets, in East Rutherford. So yeah, you perform God Bless America. Got a nice voice a little bit. And then on the Michael Cole, who fans just love and found something interesting. Like I said, this is what it's called. Interesting shit that happens I'm over 2 minutes now. Interesting shit that happens at WWE events. Learn something new about Michael Cole every day. But before that, like I said, backstage cuts. First they showed Drew in the hallways. You can see Giants logo straight on there. He on his phone laughing it up, probably looking on X or whatever. Logan Paul, he's coming in the building cocky as hell. And they show Randy Orton in a cart already. And then Jelly Roll, and there's your participants for I'll just keep it twos with y'all. This was the penultimate match at night 1. And then they show World Champion Gunther, the Ring General. He's coming in with the all around confidence. And then CM Punk, they cut to him. They all entering the building, getting ready for SummerSlam. And then he cut to Drewski doing the intro narration. Drewski was funny as hell in the pre-show, in the countdown show. He's just straight screaming to the crowd, and you know what I'm saying, the crowd is eating it up. Jersey was lit. And now WWE presents SummerSlam, So Michael Cole, one sentence is welcome to SummerSlam. And then they introduce, Alicia Taylor introduces Cardi B as the host. Now, this is a 2-night event. I already had enough talking WWE night one. I'm sorry. I put cringe on it after I put Cardi B intro as host. This is what it says on my notes, and I said cringe because she comes in screaming, who like Logan Paul, and the crowd correctly booed his ass. Well, booed up mentioning his name, and then she goes on to say, "Well, what about Randy Orton?" And the crowd cheers. You know what I'm saying? Rightly so for the legend. And then she's like, "I love me some Randy Orton." And then she just goes on do a little screaming. It's the first night of you know. And like I said, it's like, I mean, she kept it kind of short though. I'll give her credit. I'll give her credit with that. But it's like, you know, I mean, she probably had nerves. I'll say that. But did public speaking for a living though. Truth be told, you know what I'm saying. I don't know what was more cringe, her political stance or her being in it. And you know, she's gonna talk again tonight. Remember, this is a 2-night event. But on to the matches, mercifully. The match that opened the Saturday card was basically the OG bloodline against the Bronze. Translation: the OTC Roman Reigns and main event Jey Uso versus the badass Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed, accompanied by, of course, the Oracle, by the way, not the Wise Man, the Oracle, Paul Heyman. Yeah, he got a new nickname now. So the entrances go like this, basically. They cut the main event Jey, who looks like he's going swimming rather than wrestling. That's besides the point. You know what I'm saying? He had the flowers around his neck. He's eating through the crowd. MetLife is lit early. That's what I said on my notes. And that was about a good, 4-5 minutes. You know, he daps up Wade Barrett and Michael Cole in that order. So I am going to say about the crowd in a little while, but but like I said, Jersey's eating it up. And then after a while, his entrance, he's finally in there. And then they wait like a good minute, you know, for anticipation. And then Roman Reigns entering the ring. And the crowd is going nuts. You know what I'm saying? Because they waited that minute in anticipation because they knew it was coming up next. The OTC chants was basically reigning in the stadium. All right, so the match is about to start, and listen, and I know it started in France, like what was it, last year, 2 years ago? But my G's, Jersey was Boney Emin, and if you don't know what Boney Emin means, it's basically insert wrestler's name to replace Daddy Cool. Daddy Cool. They did it for Roman Reigns. You know they started it up with Cody Rhodes when it originally started. So he did. So they Boney Roman's name, and like I said, the match is about to start, but you needed the heels to come in too. So apparently the Bronze have a Team Tron now. Well, you see both their names side by side. Now, Big Bronson Reed, a funny dude. I mean, both Browns was funny during the match, but they're approaching the ring. Bronson Reed got Roman's sneakers from this past Monday's Raw around his neck, shoestring tied, together. But the funny part is they pass him to Paul Heyman. He passes him to Paul Heyman, and he's wearing the sneakers around his neck. And like I said, apparently he's the Oracle now. I wrote that in my notes. Bell rings, all four of them getting it on in the ring. With Jay and Roman and them clearing the ring. So while the Browns are powdering, Roman and Jay are playing to the crowd like, all right, let's run the beat back. Roman looks out of place, but he's down with that. So it's like, so they telling the truck, they like doing the motion, run the beat back. So it's like, all right, they run the theme back, Jay's theme back. So Jay's eating and Roman talking shit to not to the fans, talking shit to the hills, and then they end up pulling Roman outside. And they're double teaming, and then Jay with a dive off the top ring post, and then dust settles for a minute, and then Reed and Breaker eventually take control of the match. They're using Jay as like the proverbial face and peril, and like I said, they take control of the match. Braun's a legal man now, so he goes for a pinning combo on Jay, but it's hard to see whether he kicked out or Braun just got up. It was on 2, because then he does a callback to his Uncle Scott, because he's a Steiner, doing push-ups, doing the big Papa Pump, cocky push-ups routine. So now, while they're doing this, they're cutting the ring in half and all that, and Braun and Bronson just mocking Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? Mocking his acknowledge me taunt. And then not Braun. It was Braun Breaker. He's just pulling Jay, like pulling his face up, like pulling his head up, like, and then looking at him, mocking the bony M. Yo, these cats was just like, you figure that they gonna be big burly, badasses, but they was really comedic in this match. They really was. So where I'm at, just mocking Roman. Okay, I'm back. So Jay tries to get the hot tag at one point in the match, because like I said, he was just getting his ass whooped. So Roman on the apron, Jay trying to tag. So we got this scenario. You got this stereo scenario where Roman gets pulled off the apron by Big Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker like hits one of these tackles at the same time. So forget that hot tag. And then, after a few more minutes of a little mini beatdown, Roman eventually did get the hot tag and ended up clearing the ring. But then, while everybody else is on the outside, Roman was like, something? let me fucking end my career real quick. If you know where that came from, we could be friends. So he hits the ropes and then hits one of those, over the top launches. That's what I called it. He did hit one of over the top dives and he had to alter it into like a mini somersault because he kind of overshot it. It was also almost, I should say, it was almost reminiscent of like when Taker overshot his ball. He probably didn't overshoot it, but the Sim Snooker situation of WrestleMania 25. But it's like, yo, Roman kind of overshot it, but he landed pretty cool. Like, it looked like he was about to land on his neck, and then just at the last second, he tucked his head in and then turned it into a nice little flip. That was a scary moment. And then meanwhile, in the process, Superman punches was thrown, but then eventually he'll go 6 suicide dive from Bronson Reed. And then another callback to some Steiner Brothers moves from back in the days. So he had Braun play Scott doing the push-up thing. Then he played Rick, his father, when they did the top rope bulldog on Jay. At first, I thought it was going to do a doomsday device because it's like when Bronson Reed had Jey Uso on his neck, on his shoulders, it looked like they was about to do a doomsday device because Braun was already on the top rope. Breaker, that is. Then he turns around, Bronson Reed, and then they pulled off the top rope bulldog. But then it's like, all right, he comes out of the ring, and this is where Roman Reigns is, you know what I'm saying? This is when you know Roman Reigns the big cuz. Because Roman starts to take bullets for Jay. Not literal bullets, but because it's like they was trying to do Jay dirty, both of them. So Roman Reigns, he's outside of the ring, and he saves Jay from getting speared through the barricade by Braun Breaker. But he didn't take the spear on that end. He hit Breaker with a Superman punch. And then it's like eventually they throw Jey Uso in the ring. And then Bronson Reed attempts a tsunami. But Roman was like, I ain't having that. Hit him with the Superman punch. So there's chaos in the ring until like Braun Breaker tries to spear Jey Uso again, this time in the ring. But Roman pushes Jay to the damn near to the turnbuckle, on the ropes, to the ropes. So Roman gets hit with the wicked ass spear. Got hit with the wicked spear. But then, out of nowhere, Jey Uso then spears Big Bronson Reed. And then hits him with the Uso splash. Pins him 1, 2, 3. The OG Bloodline wins. Now, that was a good way to open the show. that was a good way to open the show. But I just find it interesting. It's like as many years as many years Roman Reigns was always the last match. I noticed that it's like I think that's the second PLE that he's been in. That I think he was the first match. And I guess you could say pay it forward, part time, whatever. I just find it interesting. Hey, that's what I do. Interesting shit that happened. You know, that's interesting. He was the match opener for a basically a big 5 pay-per-view. PLE, premium live event. And then they go to the little stuff that really I shouldn't really be explaining, but hey, interestingly enough, camera cuts to Drewski, then the kid Breland that sung God Bless America. And Fat Joe's in the building. Fat Joe's in the building. You know, they get camera time. And then Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, they got good chemistry on commentary. I can't front. And like I said, the crowd loves Michael Cole. But one thing I learned, and this is, like I said, this is interesting. Michael Cole actually is cool with all the rappers because it's like, because he was like, there's my guy, Fat Joe. And then Wade Barrett was like, Cole, all of a sudden, all the rappers are your guys, right? Because apparently he was also trying to learn the lyrics for Cardi B's song "Outside." That's one of the themes of SummerSlam. So I just found that something that was noteworthy. You know what I'm saying? Michael Cole is a big time rap fan. Now, when he was doing sports media, he ain't make one mention of no rappers. I'm just pointing that out to you. You know, something of a nugget that I didn't write down, but what I was noticing I had to keep wired in my brain. But back to what you want to hear. Next up was the WWE Women's Tag Title. Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez versus the not friends, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Of course, it's a title match, so the challengers enter first. You know, Charlotte about to do her twirl and twist or whatever, look for a power, and then Alexa Bliss music comes on, kind of interrupting, but they end up coming out together. They acting like they ain't friends or whatever. But interestingly enough, first of all, Raquel and Roxanne got new music. They probably didn't have the music, or it might be rock. It might be music. You know, I haven't watched the full episode of Raw on Netflix yet. I know. But it's like when they play the clips, I don't hear not one peep of the music. So maybe that's new. It's new to me. So Roxanne and Raquel with a little bit of a pre-match assault. You know, they ran to the corner and blindsided Charlotte and Alexa. And what I found odd was Charlotte was playing a face in peril. I'm like, yo, Alexa's 5 foot zip and Charlotte like 6 feet tall. But I guess because Roxanne is also 5 foot zip and Raquel is 6 feet tall, 5'10" at best, but you know. And I'm like, okay. So I just put strange because when the Charlotte, you know what I'm saying? Charlotte don't get sympathy. like that. And Wade Barrett was like this was later in the match when he said this, but it was kind of like, hey, because he said Charlotte was getting booed out of the building for 3 months straight, and now they can't get enough. I'm paraphrasing that last part. He did say booed out of the building for like 3 months straight, though. So after Charlotte gets a little comeback, first hot tag goes Alexa Bliss. She whipping Roxanne's ass, firing up the crowd. Then tried to hit her early sister Abigail, but Roxanne counted. Tag to Raquel, and then they just spent like half the match doing standard double team, cutting off the ring type shit. And then after Alexa got out of that, hot tag to Charlotte. And this is when Ray Barrett said what I just said that he said. Well, most of it. Because once she got that hot tag, the crowd went nuts. Huge face fire from the Queen. I just broke that down. And then there was a point in the match where Alexa Bliss was aiming for for Roxanne, or Raquel was one of them. I think it was might have been for Raquel, but I think I'm sure it was Roxanne. She moves out the way, and then Alexa nails Charlotte, and she's like, what the hell did I do? So I wrote down miscommunication from flip mode audits, almost close to faces as Bliss nails Flair. And I put with flip mode that's one of my favorite sayings from a rap album. It's from a flip mode skit from like almost 30 years ago. But yeah, I just didn't want to just put miscommunication, because that was a miscommunication move. So I might be saying this for a while, on the interesting shit shows. But yeah, so miscommunication with flip mode artists, almost close to faces, as Bliss nails Flair by accident. Eventually, because Bliss was the illegal female. So they hit Judgment Day hits a Tejano bomb / Pop Rocks combination for a near fall. I thought that Judgment Day was going to retain at that point. Then Bliss with the final hot tag, gaining advantage on Roxanne, and she eventually sets up for the sister Abigail, but the camera pans a little bit to Charlotte Flair, who's looking dead at Bliss, like, yo, on some, she about to catch that receipt for hitting me, for hitting her. I'm thinking like Charlotte Flair. I'm trying to get in Charlotte Flair head right now. It's like, yo, you hit me, bitch. But eventually, that's not what happens, because she's about to get ready to boot somebody, and it ends up being Raquel, because Raquel's trying to break up the Sister Abigail attempt. So Charlotte gives Sister Abigail to Roxanne by Bliss. 1, 2, 3, and new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Charlotte Flair who wins her first tag team championship, because Roxanne said she never won a tag team championship. Ah, man. Research, ladies. And Alexa Bliss. So they actually got pyro for that. They actually got pyro for. So yeah, we got interesting stuff that happened on the show, and here's some uninteresting stuff that happened on the show. We had a Papa John's promo commercial. I guess it was a promo spot. with with the Alpha Babes. I'm calling them Alpha Babes, damn it, because I ain't seen no merch that said Alpha Academy since Chad Gable left. So that, according to me. And the Alpha Babes are Kira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. And then you had Eldo. Basically, it was all over pizza until Nikki Bella came in and just gave them, or somebody that looked like Nikki Bella, more boxes of Papa John's pizza in. It was just stupid because they were arguing over the last piece of pizza. Tozawa was supposed to get it, and then damn New Day just bully footing them. So I'm like, you don't get the last slice. And then LWO came in and was like, no, we get the last slice because I don't know. And then it's like I said, New Day was like, when he was about to say New Day, then Grayson Waller popped his ass in there. And I guess Austin Theory's hurt because why do they have to break up silently? But anyway, it was like a who cares moment. You know what I'm saying? Shilling for a sponsor. That's all it was. They ended up getting like 6 boxes of pizza, and everybody get a box themselves, I guess. I'm joking when I say that, but a little sarcasm. On to the third match. That was Sammy versus Karrion Kross. Now, I really ain't putting nothing down for this. I really didn't put notes down for it. I guess they was trying to have something, like bring the mood down. It's like a bring the mood down match, because the match was just a match, truth be told. And nothing against Sami Zayn or Karrion Kross, nothing at all. But I'm just like, this was just a match. And another match that was just a match is just, I'll tell you about that later. But here's what I wrote down. I'm like, apparently this feud is still a thing. Filler match. I mean, truth be told, filler match, y'all. And it's like, Sammy wants to win the world title. Karrion says you won't win a world title. And you got to say that I'm telling the truth. That was basically what Karrion was saying during most of the match. You got to tell me, say that. Say it. I thought he was trying to tell Sami Zayn to say Mate. Bloodsport line. Anyway, it's like, I mean, Sammy still has a goal. It's long-term storytelling, at least from his end. And Karrion Kross, he got a book out now, so I found that out on the countdown. And it was like they hamming it up for Jackie Redmond is like hamming it up for him, which in turn I wanted to say he's already got a wife. But anyway, shout out to Jackie Redmond, but. Karrion's a cool dude. I ain't gonna front, but this feud, I mean, they're piggybacking on how everybody at Karrion was in contact with, they changed. You know what I'm saying? New Day being notable, but like I said, I ain't write much down for the match because it was a standing match. Karrion did his thing, got his stuff in. Sammy got his stuff in, and then Scarlett tried to get involved by introducing the lead pipe into the match. And then it's like Karen tried to use it but failed. And then that's when Scarlett handed it off to him. And then she hands it off to Sammy. And Sammy's like pondering. And then he eventually throws the pipe out of the ring. It's like, I ain't using this. You know what I'm saying? Standard babyface, baby. Underground, underdog from the underground. So I just put it in buckle. And then, you know, here it is greatest hits. You know, Blue Thunder Bomb, of course he didn't get the win with that. But exploded to the lower turnbuckle. A Luva kick, he wins the match. He won clean. Like I said, standing match. I'm not gonna say that wild. It was a good match, but it's like one of the least match chock full of interesting stuff. If you want to, you know what I'm saying? What I told you, that was like basically interesting stuff. And Carrion is making traction with his book, though. So they brought the mood down again. A Hulk Hogan tribute was played. You know, Michael Cole narrating. Basically, he waxing poetic about Hogan. And then he adds in a rest in peace, brother. Just like kind of what all of us is doing since we found out that he passed away. But of course, there was two reasons for it. One, you want to acknowledge one of the GOATs. And two, Nick Hogan was announced. So they showed Nick Hogan. Hogan looking grown now. Nick, that is. And side note about Hogan, though, passing away, they found out he had leukemia. So that was one of the contributions it had to be. You know? Just wanted to add that because I saw that on X as well as Threads. So yeah, that's something that's a thing. Like I said, shouts to Hulk Hogan family. Good to see Nick on TV again. All right, fourth match. The women's title. WWE women's title. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. And Jade was looking like 08 suit in a women's bathing suit. The only difference is Jade is actually Jamaican. Kofi obviously is West African, but and don't picture Kofi Kingston in a female bathing suit. I was just saying it was a whole lot of black, green, and yellow. That's what I said. Jade is looking extra Jamaican tonight. And then now here's what I told you about the crowd, right? I told you how the crowd's lit. They was interested in this match, but Alicia Taylor. All right, she's good at what she does, but she tries too hard. Especially when she lays into the, it could be the men or the women. it's not an issue. It's just something about the way when she goes to do the in-ring intros, and I'm not talking about the intros for when they introduce people coming to the ring and say this match is for the championship. When they do the in-ring intros, when they actually got the camera on her, like it's when she know the camera's on her and she be like, championship. I'm like, babe, you're trying too hard. You know what I'm saying? Samantha Irvin kind of did too, but she was soft spoken. Alicia Taylor is hardcore. Her voice is hard. That's why I say, like, yo, you trying too hard, baby. She cool though, but I got something else to say about her. No, I'm not trying to use her as a punching bag. Trust me, I'm not. Like I said, I like her, but she know when she get that camera time, she lays it in. She lays it in like a wrestler lays in a snug punch. For real. And the crowd is trying too hard too. Why they Boney M and Tiffy time? They was doing too much Boney M in night one. I hope they calm down night two, because they should be different. There should be different fans in the house. Probably not, but there should be, because that's what I wrote down. Alicia Taylor's trying too hard on the mic. Are they Boney M and Tiffy time? They actually did. That's what I said. Why are they doing that? Why are you doing that? It's like Tiffy time don't get Boney M treatment. No, they don't. You don't Boney M Tiffy time. And I already told y'all what Boney M is. I'm like, yo. But I did see something interesting during the match with Tiffy time with a swanton bomb. I'm like, oh, she should incorporate that in the movie. That was a pretty cool swanton bomb she did. Although it was kind of late when she tucked the head in. But still. I put down that Jade is getting better in the ring. It's like she letting that power shine, because it looks like she could lift her opponents with ease now. It's, you know what I'm saying, contrary to earlier in her WWE career. I didn't really see her botch that much in AEW, but she got so much better. And she did win Queen of the Ring, you know. But as for this match, counters by both women to stop momentum. It was a counter fest. It was a counter fest, you know. But just when you thought she was better, but I think it was visual itself, because after Tiffany went for a Prettiest Moonsault Love, the PME, that was counted because Jade lifted her legs to stop that. She then hits Jaded, and the way she maneuvered it, you know how she used the move and then turns the opponent around and then does the pin. But it's like she was too damn close to the rope. Jumped on that quick. He didn't jump on it like Michael Cole. Oh, she didn't get all of that. And then, no, Wade hit it. Wade was right on point. Now, that could be a testament to his commentary skills too, but anyway. So Jade basically she literally puts Tiffany's foot on the rope. So this is why I think it was storytelling. Because it was like, why would you, like, yo, how do you not have ring awareness like that? You ain't know you was that close to the rope when you hit the move? Well, anyway, she tries it again This time she tries to do a super jaded, basically, from the top turnbuckle. So Tiffany with a sick counter flips Jade off of her. Then she runs into the PME 1, 2, 3, and still WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton. And like I said, that was a good match. Good match because of the counter fest. I think there was, you know what I'm saying, I only had a problem with the crowd, Boney M and Tiffy time. You know? You can't Boney M everybody's name. You know? You could do it for Roman Reigns because he's a vet, he's a legend. You know what I'm saying? You could do it with Cody Rhodes because he's like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, whatever, you know, we do it. I even didn't have a problem with what happened on the next match. And this was the crowd too. And they was doing this. But I have to put it down. Chef Tina Younger, whoever the hell that is. It was Celebrity Row again. Cardi B, at least she stuck around to watch the show. She didn't go in the she didn't scream like you know, like she was screaming and then went to the back. She stayed for the show. So hey, and she is a wrestling fan. You know? She was sitting next to Drewski. It wasn't really his time to get the camera time. They already showed his ass already. But she's sitting next to Drewski, so that's how we saw him again. And then Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie's dead. They get the camera time, and now we can talk about the crowd again, Boney Emmon, because they was Boney M and Logan Paul. No, they wasn't. They was Boney M and Jelly Roll. But that was the match. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. So Logan enters first, and then Jelly Roll comes out and sings the opening bars to Voices, and then actual Rev Theory Voices plays, and then Randy Orton joins him at the entrance ramp. So they go into the ring, and see, this is why celebrities are good for wrestling. In bits and pieces. Because they get in, now you know Orton's entrance by himself is long. So they go to the turnbuckle, they go on each end of the top turnbuckles, and then they do the pose in stereo, the RKO pose. Now, you know, Jelly Roll is a celebrity, so of course he's going to be the face in peril because he's the least experienced. And that's what they do, especially in Big 5 PLEs, damn it. But Jelly, his role was just, yo, I asked for this match, so I got something to prove. I asked for this match, so I got something to prove. So he did a good job in that. I ain't gonna hold you. But you know, the double team, they cut in the ring, or they cut in the ring in half. So Logan gets tagged in, and you know he's just mocking, he's just making full ass fun of Jelly Roll, taunts like crazy, and then the crowd broke out the "fuck you, Logan" chants. And this is like a good 30 seconds. But then Randy gets a hot tag after a few minutes, and then Orton being a legend that he is, his greatest hits, the scoop power slams, the vintage DDT, even even the even the atomic drop to even like the side, you know what I'm saying, the side slam through on the announce tables. He did all that. And he did it to Logan and Drew. But after he did it to Logan, Drew recovered and hit a Claymore outside the ring. And then Logan hit a loaded punch. You know, he got a titanium plate to Jelly Roll. And then Logan's on the top turnbuckle, the top ring post, while Jelly Roll is on the announce table. He cracked 2 bottles of Prime and then hits the splash through the announce table on Jelly Roll. Match turned into like a little short-term handicap. But what I found interesting, I know I keep saying interesting, well, look at the title. Randy's still fighting alone. But it's like they slow walking Jelly Roll, like he's going to the back. Normal circumstances, if he was really hurt, they'd have took his ass to the back already. So I wrote down, why the hell is they still ringside with Jelly Roll? It's like they stood there and everybody looking at the little short-term handicap. Jelly Roll should have been halfway towards the back by now, if you want to keep it tools. But what happens? Jelly Roll is Mick Foley now. Jelly Roll is Mick Foley now. He ends up going back to the apron. Of course he gets the hot tag. That's what I put down. Of course he gets the hot tag. He ends up fighting again in the ring. Choke slam to Logan Paul, because that's like his favorite signature right there. But I love the fact they gave him, he calls it the Black Roll Slam. It's the Black Hole Slam. He worked behind the scenes with the best. And the Black Hole Slam is basically the Boss Man Slam. But I love the fact that he got it, because you know how big Biss was in his prime. He's still big, but you know, he's retired now. So Black Roll Slam to Drew. I don't want to hear y'all. And then Logan was playing on Acro's body, and then he ends up getting a power slam counter, which I guess they was calling it, and I don't think Jelly was calling it that. I think Wade and Cole was calling it the Jelly to Belly Slam. But then Drew had to get his jellies off. Claymore's Jelly Roll. But then Randy hits an RKO to Drew McIntyre. But because Jelly already got Claymore, Logan throws Orton's shoulder first into the ring post. And then I'll give Logan this. His frog splash is sick. He calls it the Paul from Grace. And Paul gets a pin. Jelly Roll loses in his WWE debut match. I'm calling it. He'll be at Royal Rumble next year. He'll be in Saudi Arabia for the Royal Rumble. But yeah, Logan and Drew wins. Now, the final match, the main event. World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther versus CM Punk. Now, y'all gonna find it crazy that I ain't write much down for this, right? Here's how I started. Because, again, the intros were the intros. You know what I'm saying? Punk didn't do anything fantastic for his intro. He just matched. did his clobbering time deal, and then Colt's personality just blaring, and then Gunther did it. They did basically generic, intros, Punk best in the world and all that. Gunther smug as usual. So and then it's what I put down. I'm like, yo, seriously, who did Alicia Taylor's hair? I had to get back on her. And then she did it again. The world heavyweight championship, And then I put Jersey. You can't Boney M everybody. They tried to Boney M CM Punk. CM, that don't work. That don't work. You just chant his name regularly and that's it. Now, reason why I ain't put much down during most of this match because it was like a standard match. Cause it's like Gunther's old school as a new cat, as a modern cat. Punk's old school because he's CM Punk. So couldn't even write much down. It's like they did an early test of strength, and then it was a chop fest. That's what we wrote down. Lots of chops. There was a couple of counters here and there, but it was like mostly chops. You really couldn't do it's like one of those deals where it's like writing it down doesn't do it justice. You just gotta watch the match and enjoy it. Because like I said, most of the match was the chop fest with Gunther dominating. And then the real shit happened like maybe like the last 10 minutes of the show. Because Gunther tried some move and then it was like Punk countered or something or moved out the way, and then Gunther goes over the announce table. The announce table was getting some work. But then I should point out that while Gunther was hitting his signatures, he was also countering Punk's signatures, like Punk ended up hitting it anyway, like the knee to the turnbuckle, and like I think he tried Anaconda Vice at one point. Gunther counted that, but there was like a submission. It was like a submission counter fest with that too. So I didn't write it down, but that did happen, like the middle of the match. So all right, fast forward to then. And like I said, Gunther goes over the announce table, gets busted open. Now, mind you, Punk bled too. He bled from the chest. Gunther could chop hard. That ain't the first time somebody bled from their chest. Or for Gunther chops. But anyway, Gunther gets busted open, and this is new to him. Because CM Punk, all of a sudden, he started feeding off of that. Oh, he bleeding, I could get him. Because he bleeding so much on the top of his head. It's like the story was he can't see, He can't see because the blood is rushing down his head to his eyes. So he can't concentrate on what he's doing. He can't do his catch can, whatever. So Punk took advantage, hit not one GTS, but two GTSs. That was enough. 1, 2, 3. And new World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk. First title since he came back. The crowd is loving it. Punk is crying, tears of joy. And then, you figure that this is gonna be a good run. This is gonna be stories upon stories upon stories. Punk's gonna have a long run. His run was 5 minutes. That's right. CM Punk was champion for only 5 minutes. Because burn it down. Oh, Seth Rollins is in Jersey. Seth freaking Rollins is in Jersey, limping to the entrance ramp with the Oracle. With the Oracle. Yeah, but he's supposed to be hurt. He's yelling, "Keep that title warm for me. You know you're gonna holding on to it for me." So he about to walk off, right? Wrong. We talking about Seth freaking Rollins, man. Yeah. He throws the hand crutches to the side, the hand canes. He turns around, he getting himself loose. Knee brace comes off. Heyman hands him the Money in the Bank briefcase. Now he's charging to the ring. He even grabs up Jessica Carr, like, "Get your ass in here with me. I'm cashing in." So Jessica announces it. Alicia announces it. And now this was, mind you, this was like after Punk was spent, and it's like Seth just hitting him briefcase shot after briefcase shot after briefcase shot. So they announce the cash in. Bell rings. Seth's already set. One stomp. 1, 2, 3. And new World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. So all of disbelief with the commentary team. Eventually the Bronze come in to join Seth and Paul Heyman to gloat over the prone body of CM Punk. And that's how night one ends. That's how SummerSlam Saturday ends. With Seth freaking Rollins celebrating his second heist of the century. Defeating CM Punk. And like I said, it's going to be story on top of story. Because remember, Seth said from jump, as long as I'm here and you here, you won't never be world. You will never get to enjoy a world championship reign, let alone be one. And yeah, that's it, y'all. That's all I got for y'all. This was SummerSlam Saturday. Interesting shit that happened at SummerSlam Saturday. I'll be back tomorrow for interesting shit that happens on SummerSlam Sunday. The review for tonight will occur tomorrow on the same airwaves. And I might be faceless there too, because I want to do this early as possible. If I do show my mug, then it is what it is. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this, because I enjoyed giving it to y'all. And by the way, you can like, comment, subscribe. But as always, if you want to do this, do that. If nothing else, you know. Shout stream y'all for keeping me up again. And shouts to y'all that watch, most likely on the playback, because y'all probably still sleeping. And I don't usually do lives this early, but it is what it is, man. Like, comment, subscribe. That'll help me out, if nothing else. And yeah, like I said, that's it. That's all, man. Let's go. Tools.